Hello everyone and welcome to my video. Today I want to discuss the video game Jurassic World Evolution, which is being created for the PC, PS4, and Xbox One by Frontier Developments and is set to be released in the summer of 2018. Basically, it's a tycoon game involving the Jurassic Park franchise where you build a park, create and maintain dinosaurs, and ensure the safety and high ratings of your park. Although we don't have an in-depth look at the game mechanics just yet, it will likely play very similarly to Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, or JPOG. JPOG was basically the spiritual predecessor of Jurassic World Evolution, and was released in 2003. To say that this game has caught the attention of Jurassic Park and dinosaur aficionados alike would be an understatement. Already, the first trailer has about 1.2 million views at the time of this video. Many have hailed Jurassic World Evolution and given high expectations for it to achieve. But there is a reason that my video doesn't have the happy-go-lucky title that its fanbase wants. In my case, I am of the opinion that Jurassic World Evolution is going to disappoint a lot of players when they get their hands on it. Although the game is visually stunning and the animals and atmosphere encapsulate the feel of the Jurassic Park series, video games have proven time and again to disappoint, and I don't think this one will be any different. Now, for the record, this video is not meant to bash the game or give unrealistic expectations for the game developers to follow. Having no game development experience myself, I'd be foolish to presume that certain tasks would be easy to overcome or implement. However, we have not seen a Jurassic Park tycoon game since 2003, and I think we want more than just a graphically impressive version of JPOG. Furthermore, the game is especially tied to the Jurassic World movie, and so I believe it should reflect important elements from the film, so that those who watch Jurassic World can better connect with the game. Unfortunately, I don't think that Jurassic World Evolution's development team is going to fulfill that task. This video will partially explain why I feel this way by going into a discussion on Jurassic World Evolution's paleontological dig site system. Already, we have a handful of previews and screenshots that reveal that, in order to obtain dinosaurs for Jurassic World Evolution, you need to fund paleontological digs. At first, I thought I was restricted to this photo you're seeing right now, and it will still prove useful later. Fortunately, I have a bigger, clearer image here for you to view, and I'd like to thank Dinosaur Gamer Aficionado Best in Slot for the screenshot. You'll find his link in the description. Although I know of other YouTubers who have already speculated about the map, I want to add a more scientific spin on the discussion. While we wait for the official roster, I want to try and make a convincing case that certain dinosaurs are going to be present in Jurassic World Evolution based on real-life fossil sites. I will then discuss the implications of this and why my confidence in Jurassic World Evolution is so lacking. And perhaps I can also stir up discussion and maybe bring attention to some problems that I hope that Jurassic World Evolution's developers will consider. Before we begin, I wish to make a few disclaimers. First, I will be mentioning the names of certain geological formations where dinosaurs have been found in, and I might botch their names, so please forgive me if that comes up. Second, I want to discuss what I believe the canon of Jurassic Park is, as this will be important in our consideration of the map. Now, if anyone knows about the Jurassic Park franchise, countless spin-offs have been created, from books, to comics, to video games, to movies. Even the film franchise might be considered a spin-off of the original book series by Michael Crichton. Still, considering the fact that the films are the penultimate expression of the Jurassic Park series, I will defer to them as the canon. As part of my canon, they include Jurassic Park, Jurassic Park: The Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic World and its affiliated website, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and Telltale's Jurassic Park the Game. The last one is the exception because it explicitly makes an attempt to follow the story of the first Jurassic Park film as a sort of behind-the-scenes plot. It is also relevant that LEGO Jurassic World somewhat endorsed the canonicity of Telltale's Jurassic World the Game by including Troodon as an unlockable creature. By accepting this as the canon, I also accept the following dinosaurs as canon: Tyrannosaurus, Velociraptor, Brachiosaurus, Parasaurolophus, Triceratops, Dilophosaurus, Pachycephalosaurus, Gallimimus, Stegosaurus, Mamenchisaurus, Pteranodon, Compsognathus, Spinosaurus, Ankylosaurus, Corythosaurus, Ceratosaurus, Dimorphodon, Mosasaurus, Metriacanthosaurus, Edmontosaurus, Suchomimus, Baryonyx, Apatosaurus, Microceratus, Herrerasaurus, and Troodon. I will even be incorporating the dinosaurs that have been seen for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom including Allosaurus, Sinoceratops, Stygimoloch, and Carnotaurus. I will also be considering JPOG's roster of dinosaurs too, since Jurassic World Evolution has already incorporated Camarasaurus, a species never acknowledged before by the canon, yet seen in JPOG. With those out of the way, let's get to the map. Now, in order to assess the map, I've gone about the business of referencing another map from a scientific angle. For this video, I will be heavily relying upon the map by Paleobiology Database, a database of the occurrences of extinct species in the fossil record around the world, including dinosaurs. This will prove very useful in determining which of the dig sites for Jurassic World Evolution correlates with a real-world site. And surprisingly, they parallel one another very well, especially if we consider the dinosaurs of the canon. So how will the dig site system work for Jurassic World Evolution? I ask this because our primary model for how dig sites would work in a Jurassic Park setting is JPOG. In JPOG, there were 9 sites available for excavation, 5 of which could be unlocked in the base game. Each site had a total of 3 species of dinosaur. For instance, the Flaming Cliffs in Mongolia had Velociraptor, Homalocephali, and Gallimimus that could be discovered. However, I don't think that Jurassic World Evolution will follow the same pattern. Already, this seems to be beyond the capabilities of the development team because, say we assume that there were 2 dinosaurs per dig site, and there are a total of 29 sites on the map. That would total to 58 dinosaurs, and I think that's way too many dinosaurs for them to create. In addition, because I'm a pessimist, I imagine that Jurassic World Evolution will create the fewest models possible while reusing the ones they've already made. They've already done this with Velociraptor and Deinonychus. Therefore, I think each site represents an individual species of dinosaur that dig teams will then need to recover. So looking at the map, there are a total of 29 sites, 15 in North America, 1 in South America, 5 in Africa, 5 in Asia, 2 in England, and 1 in Australia. To make our job easier, let us discuss the dinosaurs that have been confirmed for Jurassic World Evolution and where they are in the world. And they include Tyrannosaurus, Triceratops, Apatosaurus, Camarasaurus, Brachiosaurus, Stegosaurus, Parasaurolophus, Ankylosaurus, Velociraptor, Edmontosaurus, Ceratosaurus, and Deinonychus. A quick aside is that I can confirm that the last dinosaur is Deinonychus and not Guanglong or a hybrid dinosaur based on this tweet from Nick Rogers, who I believe is a developer for Jurassic World Evolution. Trust me, for those of you that know what Deinonychus really looked like even without the feathers, I share in your disgust and I really don't like it. But let's continue, shall we? So based on the known dinosaurs, 11 of the 15 sites in North America are potentially taken, as well as 1 site in Asia for Velociraptor. I also understand that Jurassic Park's version is not the same as the Mongolia species Velociraptor mongoliensis, and that its species is more likely based off of Deinonychus or Utah raptor from North America. Even the first Jurassic Park film showed off a human-sized dromaeosaur in the Badlands and Montana in North America. Nonetheless, considering that JPOG also considered Velociraptor to be found in East Asia, I will defer to that for now until further evidence says otherwise. With 12 dinosaurs accounted for, let's look at the other locations throughout the world. First, let's look at Africa. I felt that Africa was the easiest to actually investigate and come up with some good candidates based on the lore, especially in Northern Africa. In the center, I believe that this site lies in the country of Niger, where the Echkar Formation is. What exists in the Echkar Formation? Suchomimus. As we can see from Paleobio's map of Suchomimus, where the little green dot is, I believe this is the most likely candidate for the location. This dinosaur has never been revealed by Jurassic World Evolution at the time of this video, yet I believe this map represents our first indirect evidence of its existence, which I think is kind of cool. Now, it is true that an instance of Spinosaurus has been found in Niger too, based on Paleobio's map here. But I believe Spinosaurus is a more likely candidate for either of the 2 sites along North Africa's coast. Spinosaurus is known from both localities, represented the Chinini member of the Ain el Guattar Formation in Tunisia and the Bahariya Formation in Egypt, and so one or the other will likely play host to it. But now we are faced with a problem. What else lives in North Africa alongside Spinosaurus? None of the other dinosaurs from the Jurassic Park canon come from either Tunisia or Egypt. With that said, I believe we need to go back to JPOG for inspiration, and the most likely candidate from JPOG's roster is Carcharodontosaurus. As we can see, it too is found in the same spots as Spinosaurus, and so it would likely be a choice. I think Carcharodontosaurus makes sense because it could probably use the same rigging as the Tyrannosaurus model, and it would represent a species of large, predatory dinosaur that is not quite like Tyrannosaurus and not quite like Spinosaurus either. Moving on from North Africa, we look at two locations to the south, one in Madagascar and one just off the coast on mainland Africa. In Madagascar, the most notable dinosaur fossil deposit known is the Mai-Varano Formation, which is found in northern Madagascar just like the Jurassic World Evolution site. The three most notable dinosaurs I can think of that live there include Rapadosaurus, Masiakasaurus, and Majungasaurus. They are represented by the faint yellow dots to the north of Madagascar, which I apologize for if you can't see. I think an argument could be made that one of the three will be chosen. For instance, Rapadosaurus could be chosen and its rigging based off of the one used for Camarasaurus, or Masiakasaurus based off of the rigging for Velociraptor. However, I think that Majungasaurus is the most likely candidate for a few reasons. First, its rigging could be based off of the Ceratosaurus, and so it would theoretically be relatively easy to add, I think. Second, it would represent a good, non-fish eating, quote-quote, small predatory dinosaur for players to have. Third, it's been seen in Jurassic World the app game as the very first predatory creature that players get to unlock. Out of all three dinosaurs from Madagascar, I believe Majungasaurus will be the one chosen. Meanwhile, on the African mainland, the site for Jurassic World Evolution is just off the northwestern coast of Madagascar. Looking at a map of Africa, I think the best candidate country would be Tanzania, and the most notable dinosaur site there is the Tendaguru Formation. At this site, there are actually a lot of potential dinosaurs that could be used, and that makes this site among the most mysterious. On one hand, the Tendaguru Formation was used by JPOG before as the site where Allosaurus, Brachiosaurus, and Kentrosaurus could be recovered. However, in recent years, lots of taxonomic changes have taken place. For instance, the Tendaguru Brachiosaurus is now Giraffatitan, and the Allosaurus is precariously classified since it's only known from a tibia bone. Kentrosaurus still remains, and so I think that this will be the most likely dinosaur to be chosen because it could use the same base model as Stegosaurus, and it was used by JPOG previously. However, a possible species of Ceratosaurus is known from indeterminate remains, and I can't forget to mention that other dinosaurs exist there too, including Dicraeosaurus and Elaphrosaurus. So, what do we make of all this? It's certainly possible that Frontier Developments will choose a totally new dinosaur never before seen or acknowledged in the Jurassic World canon, and even by the franchise, such as Dicraeosaurus and Elaphrosaurus. However, I think their models are much different from the models we've already seen, and so I think it will be too much time and effort to rig and create them. We could also have a case where the developers make the Tendaguru Formation the site where Allosaurus, Ceratosaurus, or Giraffatitan as a variant of Brachiosaurus are recovered. However, I think it's too risky for the developers to choose Allosaurus or Ceratosaurus on such little fossil remains, and I think it would be a little cheap to include Giraffatitan and Brachiosaurus as two similar but separate species in the game as well. I think it would be even worse if Giraffatitan was purposefully renamed as Brachiosaurus for the game, so I will maintain that Kentrosaurus will be the most likely candidate still. Moving on from Africa, I want to focus on England. The two sites represent the only European sites for Jurassic World Evolution. So based on the Jurassic Park canon, what creatures might be found here? Based on the list, I managed to identify three potential species. First, there's Baryonyx, a smaller version of Suchomimus who will soon get its debut in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. This dinosaur is found in the Wasek Formation, and based on PaleoBio's map, it's primarily found in the southeastern half, and there is a location on Jurassic World Evolution's map that exists there too, so I think it will definitely be included. I think it makes sense to include it too because it would use the same rigging as Spinosaurus and Suchomimus, so I'd like to think that it wouldn't be too hard to make. On the other hand, there is another site more to the southwestern part of England, and that leaves me with one of two possibilities. On one hand, it could be Metriacanthosaurus, which is also found in southwestern England based on this map. Interestingly, Metriacanthosaurus is mentioned not only by the Jurassic World website, but also as an embryo in the first Jurassic Park film, although most theorists believe that it should be Yangchuanosaurus from China, rather than the poorly known Metriacanthosaurus. Nonetheless, this would probably use the same rigging as Ceratosaurus, and so I think it would be relatively easy to incorporate. On the other hand, another more exciting but less likely possibility is that this site represents the site for Dimorphodon, which is also found there. I think the possibility that this is Dimorphodon is going to make or break Jurassic World Evolution. The reason is because flying creatures have never been incorporated in any previous dinosaur-based tycoon game I can think of without modding. J-Pog's team tried to incorporate flying and even swimming creatures, but they simply ran out of time, based on this interview at Gamasutra. Zoo Tycoon 2 and 3 have a limited ability to show off flying creatures, but while Zoo Tycoon 2 saw peacocks and flamingos fly no higher than midway up the fencing on their cages, Zoo Tycoon 3 had flying creatures that followed a set animation. It would really be a shame if the developers merely made the pterosaurs follow a set animation and did not make them living, independent creatures in our Jurassic World Evolution park. I really believe that pterosaurs need to be included in Jurassic World Evolution in order for it to become immortalized among dinosaur and Jurassic Park games. In addition, because Jurassic World Evolution is obviously tied to Jurassic World the film, it should make sense that the creators would incorporate species seen in that film first, and pterosaurs were one such iconic species in it. Unfortunately, because I'm a pessimist about the whole thing, I think pterosaurs are beyond what the development team can do, and so we're never going to see Dimorphodon, or Pteranodon for that matter. And that's really going to stink. Returning to the map again, it's also possible that the developers will go with another dinosaur entirely, such as Iguanodon or Polacanthus, but I think the canon dinosaurs represent a better fit overall. But we'll wait and see. Moving on from England, let's go to Asia. Asia is actually one of the more daunting places to look at because it's so big, and only a handful of Jurassic Park canon dinosaurs actually live here. Obviously, as I mentioned, I believe Velociraptor will be found here. But where exactly is here? If we look at PaleoBio's map, we see that the recorded instances of Velociraptor is quite vast, and so either of the two horizontal sites in Mongolia or northern China could contain Velociraptor. If so, then who else lives here? Looking back at the roster, I think another candidate would be Gallimimus, which has been found near to Velociraptor, although not part of the same formation, and it has been seen in Jurassic Park 1, Jurassic Park The Lost World, Jurassic World, and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, so I think it will likely be included too. The formations it's been found in include the Nemegt Formation and the Barun-Goyot Formation, and both are restricted to Mongolia. Therefore, I think the one to the left will represent Gallimimus, and the one on the right will represent Velociraptor. Another possibility is that the one on the left is Velociraptor, and the one on the right is Microceratus, a mini ceratopsian that walks on two legs. This is because the sites for Microceratus seem to be concentrated just outside of Mongolia to its south and southeastern parts. This dinosaur is known from the Jurassic World website, and it would probably represent a nice, fiddling dinosaur to act cute in front of guests and as a chew toy for larger predators. However, considering the dinosaur's non-existence in the films, as well as its very small size, I don't think it will be chosen. So, who else could come from Asia? In what looks to be southern China, there are two sites present. One possible candidate that might surprisingly be chosen could be Mamenchisaurus, which is found in southern China and was present in Jurassic Park The Lost World. I think this would be a really cool addition simply because this dinosaur has almost never been acknowledged outside of its brief appearance in the film. Admittedly, I think it would require a unique model to implement, although I can imagine it using the same rigging as Apatosaurus, albeit with a longer neck. However, I cannot be too sure of this dinosaur, and so I'm open to other never-before-acknowledged dinosaurs too. For instance, considering the two sites' locations in the south, I think that two dinosaurs will be chosen from the same fossil deposit as Mamenchisaurus, namely what is sometimes collectively called the Deschamps Formation. A brief perusal of just the Wikipedia page for the Deschamps Formation reveals a lot of potential dinosaurs. These include Yangchuanosaurus, which could use the same rigging as Ceratosaurus, and Tuajangasaurus, which could use the same rigging as Stegosaurus, as well as other more unique species like Shunosaurus, a clubbed-tailed sauropod, and Gasosaurus, a raptor-sized theropod. Finally, there is another site that is so far to the northeast of China that I can't be sure if it's actually in North Korea or Russia. No dinosaurs from the canon are known that far north. The site seems to be directly horizontal with and to the west of Kangke Lake, and so looking at a map of northeastern China with just the selection Dinosauria, I think the cluster of circles just at the top of this picture represents where the dinosaur in question comes from. It might be possible that the developers will include a unique hadrosaur, such as Olorotitan, or they might go cheap and include a reskinned version of a dinosaur that's already been made. Specifically, I think they might want to include Chironosaurus as a Parasaurolophus variant, or Tarbosaurus as a Tyrannosaurus variant, although I kind of hope that they don't go this route. But ultimately, I'm truly uncertain as to what potential dinosaur it could be, and so any suggestions in the comments section would be appreciated. From Asia, we go to Australia, which has proven to be surprisingly difficult for me to figure out. On one hand, there are no dinosaurs from the Jurassic Park canon that come from Australia, and I can't think of any from JPOG either. However, Australia is full of unique dinosaurs, and so at first I didn't feel that there would be much of a problem finding the right dinosaur. However, taking the Jurassic World Evolution map at face value, the site would almost seem to be right along the coast of northern Australia, namely near the Gulf of Carpentaria. However, looking at the paleobiome map with the selection Dinosauria and specified for just the Mesozoic, no fossil sites come close. The closest site I could find was Whitewood Paddock at Clutha Station in Queensland, which contains Ostrosaurus, a titanosaur sauropod. I honestly think that the site for the Jurassic World Evolution map is inaccurately placed, and so it should actually be further to the south. With that in mind, we have a lot of potential dinosaurs to choose from then, including Australovenator, which could use the same rigging as Velociraptor, Muttaburrasaurus, which could use the same rigging as Parasaurolophus, or Kubarasaurus, formerly Minmi, with the same rigging as Ankylosaurus. Again, leave a comment down below if you think there's another likely suggestion too. On the map, there's a single site for South America, and this has proven to be very interesting to investigate. At first, I thought that it would be obvious that the Jurassic World Evolution team would incorporate a large, iconic dinosaur from there, such as the soon-to-be-seen Carnotaurus, or maybe one of the big daddies of the continent like Giganotosaurus or Argentinosaurus. However, I was quickly surprised to find that these sites were far too south of the site for Jurassic World Evolution, which looked to be just above the Rio de la Plata in Brazil, as well as the country's southern curve along the coast. I even decided to map all of the creatures from Jurassic World the app game that would hail from South America, but none of them came close to where the site on the map is. However, looking back at the canon of Jurassic Park, I'm convinced that this site represents the Ischigualasto Formation, which contains the dinosaur Herrerasaurus. When charted among the other dinosaurs, Herrerasaurus is the closest creature to the site on the Jurassic World Evolution map. This addition is quite exciting, not only because we might get Troodon in the package deal too, but also because we have yet to see this dinosaur outside of Telltale's Jurassic Park. I can also imagine it being easy to incorporate by using the same rigging as Velociraptor, although it would be nice to see a wholly unique model too if it's implemented. Finally, we come to North America, and our previous discussions about the other continents will prove useful in deciphering what the remaining creatures could be for North America. As I mentioned, we already know that up to 11 of the 15 dinosaurs from North America are known, so now we need to guess at least 4 of them. From a canon perspective, I think the most likely candidates will be Dilophosaurus and Pachycephalosaurus, or its counterpart Stygimoloch, which will be present in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Dilophosaurus has been seen in Jurassic Park media for years, but it's only ever been shown bodily in the first film and as a holograph in Jurassic World. There's hope for it to be in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom at least, so keep an eye out for that. Anyway, its prolific nature and its presence in JPOG makes me think that it will definitely be included in Jurassic World Evolution, and so it will either use the same rigging as Velociraptor or be given a new one. The latter makes sense since this dinosaur can hop, open its frill, and spit poison in a manner quite unlike a Velociraptor. As for Pachycephalosaurus, it was presented in Jurassic Park The Lost World and Jurassic World, albeit briefly, as the famous head-butting dinosaur, and so I think it would definitely round out the roster of small herbivores that would populate the game. I'm also open to the possibility that Stygimoloch will be placed in its stead since Jurassic World Evolution is incorporating Brachiosaurus into its game, whose coloration was eerily similar to the one in the official trailer for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom months later. The other 2 choices are somewhat more difficult to identify, and I again stand by the assertion that whichever creature the developers choose to incorporate will make or break their game. Ignoring the number of sites left, the only remaining creatures to consider would be Corythosaurus, Allosaurus, Troodon, and most notably, Pteranodon. Now, Corythosaurus is a good possibility in my opinion because it would be a nice complement and playmate with Parasaurolophus, and so they would contribute to making Jurassic World Evolution feel alive with herds of dinosaurs grazing together. For Allosaurus, its presence is based off of a 3-clawed theropod seen in the official trailer for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, although I completely understand that it could be a Metriacanthosaurus too. Nonetheless, erring on the side of caution, I will pretend that Allosaurus is a possibility. However, I think Allosaurus is very unlikely since we seem to know that Carnotaurus will not be a choice for Jurassic World Evolution. It's also possible we may see none of the dinosaurs from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom at all, which might remove Stygimoloch from consideration too. With the addition of Herrerasaurus, however, I think that Troodon does become a possibility, which I think would be a cool addition since it would be active at night, and its glowing eyes would make a very interesting scene in Jurassic World Evolution. It could probably use the same rigging as Velociraptor at worst, although a more unique model would be appreciated too. Finally, there's Pteranodon, which if I had it my way, I would definitely go about the business of incorporating. But again, I think the ability to make and contain pterosaurs in a tycoon game is just too difficult to rig, and so I'm really pessimistic about the possibility that we'll ever get to see a Pteranodon fly through the skies of Jurassic World Evolution. Again, I really think that hurts this game's potential because Pteranodon is so iconic, not just for Jurassic World, but for most of the Jurassic Park canon itself. I would kill to have pterosaurs incorporated into Jurassic World Evolution, even if it meant breaking game logic and ignoring their ability to fly off the island and cause trouble. Unfortunately, I think Pteranodon will be the least likely to be included, and that makes me sad. So, we finally made it through our look at Jurassic World Evolution's dig site map. But the last thing I wanted to discuss about is what's missing from the map and what we can expect from Jurassic World Evolution. I think the most notable omission, or at least the biggest uncertainty, is the Mosasaurus, and that's really upsetting to me. Based on reality, the type species Mosasaurus hoffmanni hails primarily from continental Europe, and it has been estimated to have grown up to 13 meters long. This is almost certainly the species that gave inspiration to the Mosasaurus in Jurassic World Evolution, although that one grew up to 18 meters. But looking off of PaleoBio's map, it's obvious that the inclusion of Mosasaurus remains very ambiguous. Although the Jurassic World Evolution dig site map contains no sites on mainland Europe or in eastern North America, the fact that Mosasaurus is found in southwestern England and parts of western North America leaves those sites open to being chosen. But from my pessimistic point of view, Mosasaurus is already difficult to incorporate because it's an aquatic animal. Although I think there will be an option to create bodies of water, I don't think that Frontier Developments will manage to put Mosasaurus into the game, despite its crucial presence in the Jurassic World film. After all, we need to consider that the creature needs to be rigged, given its own unique animations, and able to account for collision with the tank or body of water it finds itself in. Frontier Developments did contribute to the creation of Zoo Tycoon, including its Marine Mania edition and its swimming creatures. Unfortunately, I think the developers consider Mosasaurus to be a one-trick pony that would be the only creature that swims, compared to the more easily rigged land-dwelling dinosaurs. Sadly, I think Jurassic World Evolution is going to go the way of JPOG's development team, where time and money just couldn't get the job done, and Mosasaurus will be left out of the loop. Another thing I will also reiterate is the current ambiguity regarding whether pterosaurs like Dimorphodon or Pteranodon will be incorporated into Jurassic World Evolution either. We have seen no screenshots or previews of them flying around the park. Although this could be a sign that they're being rigged at the moment, I actually don't think so. Until I see a pterosaur flying around the skies of Jurassic World Evolution, I'm going to assume that it's as good as missing from the roster, and that's really a shame. If I were to set priorities, I would absolutely make it my objective to include at least Pteranodon and Dimorphodon as well as Mosasaurus. These creatures are simply too iconic for Jurassic World Evolution to not put them in, and to not see them in the game is really going to be a bummer. I would even prefer that we have fewer dinosaur species and instead have fully functioning flying and aquatic creatures. I say this because this is where I believe the best solution comes from. You. You as in the modders who have the time on their hands to modify a model and make it into something new mixed in with the old. This is already the key to JPOG's success long after its monetary value ran out. Years later, modders are still creating new skins and models for the community for players to flesh out and freshen up their parks and gameplay experience. For instance, I want to draw attention to the modders of Jurassic Park Advanced Operation Genesis, who have apparently cracked the code in modifying the dinosaurs to such a degree as to create appearances that are crisp and unique. This is what I believe Jurassic World Evolution would be capable of as long as the developers gave players the tools to do it. Of course, I understand that someone might modify the game to the point that it lands Frontier Developments into trouble, such as copyrighted models being added or models being stolen. However, I really think that this would be a minority side effect, and the Jurassic World Evolution community would help to back and call out those that would seek to take credit away from the developers. Considering that Frontier Developments has already made a modder-friendly game in the form of Planet Coaster, I really see a lot of potential for Jurassic World Evolution to be modified. I implore Jurassic World Evolution to make the best rigged models possible, even if it's fewer than what was desired, and allow the modding community to take care of the rest. That's how Jurassic World is really going to survive and go down in history as one of the best dinosaur games ever made. They will set the bar, but only if they trust the modding community enough. What say you? Anyway, leaving my quibbles aside, there is one positive note I would like to leave on. At the start of this video, I mentioned that I had a lower quality picture of the Jurassic World Evolution dig site map that I was going to use. However, it's still relevant when we look and see one site that was not represented in the dig site map we've been looking at. Do you see where it is? If you guessed the Iberian Peninsula, you would be correct. When I first saw this, I thought that maybe we might see a dinosaur like Conica Venator. However, when I looked closely, I saw that the site was very far to the west. It was so far west that I believe the site is actually in Portugal and not Spain. Considering the fossil deposits there, I think the best candidate would be the Lourinhã Formation, which is represented by an almost transparent blue dot on the west coast, and contains many dinosaurs similar to the Morrison Formation in North America. So, what is this site? Was it a site that was axed at the last second? Is it a sign that more sites might be incorporated into Jurassic World Evolution as it nears completion? What dinosaurs are being considered? Was it dinosaurs like Ceratosaurus? Or perhaps Stegosaurus? Or was it a more unique dinosaur like Torvosaurus or Miragaia? We may never know, but I suppose I want to hold on to the small hope that we might see more fossil sites and with them more dinosaurs in the game. But again, we'll see. We've come to the end of this video, so I want to thank those that have stuck around to the end. If you have any thoughts as to what creatures might be included based on the fossil map I've provided, leave a comment as to what you think. I really think we need to be having this discussion since I feel like there's still time for our voices to be heard by the Jurassic World Evolution development team as to what we want. Of course, constructive criticism is a must in this scenario, and I ask that we be respectful in our demands and expectations for the game. I really want for this game to succeed long after it's published, although to be honest, we're dealing with an uphill battle right now. But we'll see. Maybe we can hope that things will change. Maybe we can be that change. Anyway, thanks again guys, and I wish you all well.